I'm just your average, snack-loving, adventure-chasing golden dog. And guess what? My best friend Dad and I go on the coolest adventures. We've got a big black Jeep named Birdie, a whole world to explore, and, of course, plenty of snacks. Every week is a brand new tail-wagging adventure. You never know what we'll find. Hidden carrots, new friends, maybe even buried treasure. So grab your hat, pack your snacks, and come with us.
Harley and Dad Go Trick-or-Treating. Harley sat in the middle of the cozy log cabin living room, tail thumping like a drum. His bright blue collar peeked out from a shiny green dragon costume. Soft felt scales, a swishy tail, and two friendly little horns that kept slipping to one side. He puffed his cheeks and tried a very serious dragon face. "Roar," he said. Then he blew a big breath out. "That's my fire." Dad laughed from behind the hall mirror. He was buckling the last piece of his English knight costume, shimmering armor over a green shirt and a light helmet with a soft nose guard. He lifted the visor and smiled at Harley. "You look fierce and fabulous, Sir Dragon." Harley trotted in a circle, checking that his tail wag didn't knock anything over. "Do dragons get extra treats for good roaring?" he asked hopefully. "We'll see," Dad said, kneeling to straighten the little wings on Harley's back. "But first, mission briefing." He tapped a finger against the mirror like a coach with a chalkboard. "It's Howl-oween, so tonight we're trick-or-treating with our friends and ending at the dog park party. But safety first." Harley sat up straighter, ears perked. Snacks were important. Safety meant more snacks could happen. Dad held up a small reflective band and looped it gently around Harley's front strap. "Rule 1. We stay visible. Reflective bands on you, reflective bands on me. I brought the little clip-on light for your collar, too." Click. A tiny white glow blinked cheerfully from Harley's collar. He leaned forward to see if it was edible. It was not. "Rule 2, Dad continued. We stay together. No dashing into yards, no darting across the street. We walk on the sidewalk, cross only at corners, and wait for me every time." Harley's tail slowed into a steady, responsible wag. "I can do that." Rule 3. Costumes comfy, not scary. Dad slipped 2 fingers under the dragon belly strap and checked the fit. "Can you breathe, wiggle, and wag?" Harley demonstrated all 3 at once, which looked a little like a mermaid trying to salsa. "Wiggle certified," he said. "Excellent," Dad said, trying not to laugh. Rule 4. Treats. We only take dog-safe treats. No chocolate, no raisins, no mystery snacks. If we're not sure, we save it for later and check. I've packed your pumpkin biscuits and we'll trade when we need to. Harley's eyes grew round. "Pumpkin biscuits? More than one?" Dad winked and lifted a small cloth bag decorated with tiny paws. Plural. Harley recommitted to following every rule in the universe. Rule 5, Dad said, standing and rattling his armor just enough to sound heroic. Ask before greeting. Some little goblins and witches might be shy, and some decorations might move or make noises. We take it slow, and if anything feels too spooky, we skip it. Harley glanced at the door, where a plastic skeleton waved from a hook on the porch. He waved back politely. Not spooky, mostly bony. Rule 6. Your leash stays on. Dad clipped Harley's leash to the blue collar. We'll keep it loose so you can strut. And I've got water, your collapsible bowl, and bags for any garbage. He tucked everything into a side pocket on his belt like a knight preparing for a very practical quest. Harley beamed. Knight of the Tidy Realm. Exactly, Dad said. Last rule. We start early and finish at the dog park where there'll be lights, friends, and bowls of fresh water. Rosie's house first, then Poppy's, then we loop to Messi and Vinnie, Frankie, Gregor, Brody, Simon, and on we go. Harley did a tiny prance in place, the grand snack circuit. Dad put his hand on the doorknob. Ready, Sir Dragon? Harley lifted his chin, wiggled his wings, and waggled his tail. Onward, Sir Knight, for glory, for friends, for biscuits. Just then, knock, knock, knock. Both heads turned. Harley froze, tail wagging in suspense. Trick-or-treaters already? Dad opened the door, and there, standing under the porch light, was Tom with a huge grin. He wore a tall pointed hat, a blue robe covered in silver stars, and was holding a staff made from an old broom handle. Happy Howl-oween, he said. The great wizard Tom has arrived from the farm. Beside him, Daisy bounced in excitement, dressed as a bright, round pumpkin. Her little green stem hat wobbled with every wiggle. Harley, trick or treat together, she barked. Dad said I could come. Harley gasped. Daisy, you're the cutest vegetable I've ever seen. Daisy twirled proudly. Pumpkin power! Dad laughed, shaking Tom's hand. Perfect timing, wizard. Now we've got a full questing party. Knights, dragons, wizards, and pumpkins. Unstoppable. Tom chuckled. I thought you might like a little company on your rounds. Daisy didn't want to miss seeing the city pups in costume. Harley pranced in a circle, tail wagging so fast his dragon wings flapped. Best surprise ever! We'll share the pumpkin biscuits, right? Dad winked. We'll share everything. He clipped on Harley's leash, slung the treat bag over his shoulder, and opened the door wide. The crisp autumn air smelled of leaves, bonfires, and excitement. All right, Dad said. Ready, team? Ready, said Tom. Ready, squeaked Daisy. Harley puffed his chest, wings crooked but proud, for snacks and spooky fun. And together, the knight, the dragon, the wizard, and the pumpkin stepped out into the glowing Howl-oween evening. The autumn evening was crisp and golden as Harley, Dad, Tom, and Daisy made their way down the lane. Leaves rustled under their paws and boots, swirling like orange confetti in the breeze. Rosie's house is just around the corner, Dad said, his armor softly clinking as he walked. First stop on our quest. Harley pranced proudly beside him, tail wagging through the gap in his dragon costume. Do you think she'll have snacks? Daisy giggled, her round pumpkin suit wobbling as she trotted. It's Howl-oween. Of course she will. They turned up the path lined with glowing pumpkins and fake cobwebs that sparkled under the porch light. Harley sniffed the air. Something sweet and peanut buttery was nearby. Knock, knock, knock. Dad rapped on the door. From inside came the sound of tiny paws skittering on hardwood, then a cheerful bark. The door creaked open, and there she was, Rosie. She stood proudly in a shiny black bat costume, wings spread wide, tiny felt ears perched perfectly between her curls. A purple bow glimmered under her chin. Trick or treat, she barked, giggling. Oh, wait, I'm the house, right? Harley gasped. You look amazing. You're like a snack bat. Rosie twirled, her wings fluttering. Mom helped me practice flying earlier. I didn't get far, but I did knock over a stack of books. Everyone laughed. Rosie's human appeared at the door, smiling, and dropped a few little dog treats into Harley's paw print bag. Pumpkin bites for the crew, she said. Harley sniffed one, then gave an approving nod. Excellent quality. "Coming with us, Rosie?" Dad asked. "You bet," she barked. "I've been waiting all day. Let me grab my leash." A moment later, the little bat bounded down the steps and joined the parade, tail wagging, wings flapping softly in rhythm. Harley strutted ahead with pride. "Now our team has air support." Daisy giggled. "Pumpkin and bat, what a combo." Tom waved his broom staff like a wand. "Onward, my magical beasts. Next stop, Poppy's house." And off they went down the lantern-lit street, the friends glowing in their costumes, laughter drifting behind them in the cool night air. The little Halloween parade jingled and giggled its way down Maple Lane, dragon scales rustling, pumpkin puffing, and bat wings flapping with every step. Harley's tail wagged so fast it made his dragon tail flap. Poppy always has the best snacks. Daisy trotted proudly beside him. She's got that cozy porch with the purple lights. As they turned the corner, they saw it. Poppy's front steps glowing with strings of twinkly lights, pumpkins carved with funny faces, and a sign that read, "Welcome, little goblins, and good dogs, too." Harley sniffed the air. "Smells like apple and peanut butter." Rosie's bat wings quivered. Her mom was baking again, I can tell. Dad gave a friendly knock on the door, and moments later it swung open, revealing Poppy, smiling wide and wagging her tail. She wore a soft gray mouse costume, complete with round ears, tiny pink paws, and a long felt tail that trailed behind her like a ribbon. "Trick or treat," the group chorused. Poppy squeaked dramatically, pressing her paws to her cheeks. "Oh no! A dragon, a bat, and a pumpkin! Don't eat me!" Harley puffed his chest. "I am a friendly dragon. I only eat snacks." Poppy giggled, then held out a tiny pumpkin-shaped bowl. "Good thing I've got some. Peanut butter bones and apple slices. Approved by my human and taste-tested by yours truly." Harley peeked in. "You had me at peanut butter." Dad chuckled, handing each pup a treat from the bowl. "Thank you, Poppy. You look adorable." Poppy swished her tail proudly. "I'm a squeaky snack mouse tonight." Daisy twirled beside her. "Now we've got a pumpkin, a bat, a dragon, and a mouse. We're unstoppable." Tom nodded gravely. A most magical party of heroes. Onward to Messi and Vinnie's. Poppy grabbed her leash and bounced down her steps. "Wait for me. My mom says I can come over to the park party too." Harley grinned, leading the march once more. "Let's go get our next recruits." The group trotted off together, paws padding over fallen leaves, their shadows stretching long and silly in the moonlight. A dragon, a bat, a pumpkin, a mouse, a wizard, and a knight, off to collect friends and treats across the neighborhood. The Halloween night had deepened into a swirl of laughter and lantern glow. The wind rustled the dry leaves, and every so often a giggling ghost or a tiny superhero passed by, dragging a treat bag almost as big as themselves. Harley led the growing pack proudly, his dragon wings flapping in rhythm with his wagging tail. Behind him bounced Daisy the pumpkin, Rosie the bat, and Poppy the mouse, all glowing under their reflective bands. As they turned up the quiet street, they could already see it. Messi and Vinnie's yard was transformed into a pirate ship. Cardboard sails flapped in the breeze, a treasure chest made from an old laundry basket sat by the porch, and a handmade sign read, "Beware, pirate pups afloat." Dad laughed. "That's clever. I think they might win the decoration contest this year." Harley trotted right up to the door and gave 3 enthusiastic knocks with his paw. "Trick or treat!" The door swung open with a creak and a cheerful "Arr!" from Messi, who stood proudly in his pirate costume, a black hat with a feather, a red bandana, a little vest, and a cardboard sword tucked into his collar. "Avast, land pups!" Messi barked. "Ye come for gold or for treats?" "Snacks," Harley said, without hesitation. From behind Messi peeked Vinnie, buzzing happily in a yellow and black bee costume, with little wings and a wobbly headband. "Buzz, buzz," he said, bumping into Messi's tail. Daisy squealed with delight. "You're adorable!" Rosie giggled. "I think his wings actually flap." Messi rolled his eyes. "Aye, and he flies straight into the snack bowl." "Only once," Vinnie protested. "Okay, maybe twice." Dad chuckled as Messi's mom handed each pup a little bone-shaped treat bag. "Pumpkin biscuits with a sprinkle of cinnamon," she said. "No tricks, just treats." Harley bowed gallantly. "Thank ye, Captain." Messi grinned. "There's a big party at the dog park." "Sure is," said Dad. "You coming along?" "Wouldn't miss it," Messi barked. "Let me grab my leash." Vinnie buzzed around Harley. "Can I come too? Please, Mr. Harley, can I come?" Harley grinned. "It wouldn't be a party without you, Vinnie. Come on." Soon the pirate and the bee joined the growing parade, wagging tails glowing in the streetlights. Harley beamed as the group trotted off together. "This is the best Halloween ever," he said. Dad smiled, adjusting his night helmet. "And it's only getting better, Sir Dragon." By the time the costume parade reached the next street, the moon was high and bright, glowing through drifting clouds like a friendly lantern in the sky. Harley's dragon tail swished happily as he led the way. "This next house always smells like treats and fun," he said, sniffing dramatically. "And sometimes feathers?" Rosie flapped her bat wings. "It does smell like feathers." "Simon, Gregor, and Brody," Daisy sang. "I can't wait to see what they're wearing." Dad chuckled. "If I know those 3, it's going to be something coordinated." The group turned the corner and burst into laughter. There, under a string of glowing orange lights, stood Simon, Gregor, and Brody on their front lawn, proudly flapping in homemade bird costumes. Simon, the largest, wore a round brown and red turkey outfit, complete with a fan of colorful feathers that wobbled when he moved. Gregor strutted in a rooster costume, red felt comb standing proudly on his head. And Brody, grinning from ear to ear, wore a soft yellow duck suit, complete with a little orange beak that kept slipping sideways. "Trick or treat," Harley barked, unable to stop giggling. "You guys look excellent." Simon puffed out his chest. "I'm a turkey of great importance." Gregor gave a dignified nod. "And I am the rooster of dawn, bringer of breakfast." Brody flapped his wings wildly. "Quack!" he yelled. Then after a pause added, "That means I'm just a duck." All the pups howled with laughter as the triplets' mom appeared with a big bowl of treats shaped like tiny bones. "Happy Halloween, everyone. These are carrot crunchers, fresh from the oven." Harley took one eagerly. "Crunchy and delicious. Brody, your house is snack heaven." "Want to join our flock for the next stop?" Rosie asked. Simon nodded solemnly. "Of course. No feathered friend should miss a party." Gregor added, "Beside, the rooster must supervise the celebration." Brody just wagged, "And the ducks bringing the quacks." Daisy giggled so hard she almost rolled over. "This is the silliest parade ever." Dad smiled, looking down at the growing crew of wagging tails and flapping costumes. "Just the way Halloween should be," he said. And so the group, now featuring a dragon, pumpkin, bat, mouse, pirate, bee, turkey, rooster, and duck, plus a knight and a wizard, trotted off toward the next glowing perch, tails wagging and feathers bouncing in the cool night breeze. The parade of pups trotted along the quiet sidewalk, tails wagging in rhythm. The air was crisp now, the kind of October cool that smelled like pine needles and pumpkin pie. Leaves skittered across the street as Harley led the way, his dragon wings fluttering with every bounce. "Next up," Daisy called, "is Frankie's house." "Frankie?" Rosie asked. "He always looks so dignified. I wonder what he's dressed up as." Harley's eyes twinkled. "I bet it's something amazing." They reached a tidy little house at the end of the lane. Pumpkins stood in perfect rows on the porch, each one carved in clean, precise lines. A wreath of orange leaves framed the door, and even the scarecrow on the lawn stood up straight, like it had been personally inspected. Dad smiled. "Frankie's decorations are as neat as his beard." Harley barked playfully. "They're perfect, neat and tidy, just like Frankie." Dad knocked gently on the door. It opened to reveal Frankie, standing tall and serious in a flowing black judge's robe. His neatly groomed beard peeked out from beneath the collar, and he wore a tiny white ruffle tied around his neck. His green collar and bone-shaped tag gleamed beneath the robe like a badge of office. "Good evening," Frankie said in his deep, thoughtful voice. "I see the court of Howl-oween has assembled." Harley bowed, wings brushing the porch. "Your Honor, the case before you is dragon versus snack shortage. We demand more biscuits." Frankie raised an eyebrow. "And do you have evidence, Sir Dragon?" Harley lifted his treat bag, which was noticeably lighter than before. "Exhibit A, Your Honor." Frankie inspected the bag solemnly. A compelling argument. He reached into a nearby jar on the porch table and handed Harley a bone-shaped biscuit. "Judgment in favor of the dragon." Daisy clapped her paws together. "Best judge ever!" Frankie smiled modestly. "I try to maintain fairness, especially when it comes to snacks." Gregor the Rooster gave a respectful bow. A wise decision. Brody the Duck quacked. Simon the Turkey gobbled once for good measure. "Now then," Frankie said, tucking his treat jar away neatly, "I understand there's a gathering at the park." "Indeed," Dad said, "the grand Halloween finale." Frankie nodded. "Excellent. I'll accompany the procession. Someone must ensure proper decorum." Harley grinned. "And someone must ensure the snack table." Frankie sighed in mock seriousness. "I see I have my work cut out for me." As they set off again, the growing crew filled the street with laughter and jingling collars. The judge walked with stately grace beside the knight and the wizard, while the dragon, pumpkin, bat, mouse, pirate, bee, turkey, rooster, and duck bounced ahead in a happy blur of colors. The night glowed brighter with every paw step, and somewhere ahead the dog park lights twinkled like stars on the ground. The night had deepened into that perfect Halloween hour, cool, crisp, and full of laughter echoing from every direction. The parade of costumed dogs jingled along the sidewalk like a furry carnival, tails high and hearts happy. Harley trotted proudly at the front, his dragon wings rustling. "Next stop, Dottie's house," he barked. "She loves Halloween." Daisy's little pumpkin hat wobbled as she bounced. I heard she's been working on her costume all week. Rosie flapped her wings. I bet it's sparkly. And colorful, Poppy added with a grin. It's Dottie, after all. Dad pointed toward a cheerful little house up ahead. The windows glowed orange and purple, and a big sign by the door read, "Super Dogs Welcome." Tom chuckled. I have a hunch we're about to meet a hero. Sure enough, the door opened to reveal Dottie, a frisky pup with bright eyes and shiny red superhero cape. A big yellow D sparkled on her chest, and her tail wagged so hard her mask kept slipping sideways. "Trick or treat," Harley and the others barked. Dottie struck a heroic pose. "Never fear, Super Dottie is here." Harley gasped. "Wow, you're a real superhero." "Well," Dottie said modestly, "I can't actually fly, but I can leap onto the couch in a single bound." The group laughed as Dottie's mom came to the door, holding a tray of little dog-safe cookies shaped like stars. "For all the heroes," she said, offering them around. Harley sniffed one carefully. "Smells like peanut butter victory." "Approved," Rosie giggled. Dottie wagged so hard her cape flapped like wings. "Where are you guys headed?" "To the dog park," Daisy said. "Everyone's meeting there for the big Howl-oween party." "Then I'm coming too," Dottie barked. She dashed inside, grabbed her leash, and came bounding back with her cape flying dramatically behind her. Harley beamed. "Perfect! We've got a judge, a pirate, a bee, a dragon, a pumpkin, a mouse, a bat, a turkey, a rooster, a duck, and now a superhero." Tom laughed. "I think that makes a full team." Dad smiled, tightening his knight's belt. "Then onward, everyone. The park awaits." The group trotted off once more, jingling, flapping, and laughing under the stars. Dottie raced ahead, her cape fluttering proudly behind her, lighting the way like a flag of friendship. The parade of paws jingled through the crisp night air, a joyful, colorful line of dragons, pumpkins, bats, mice, pirates, bees, and birds. Their treat bags were getting heavier, and Harley's tail was getting wagged out of rhythm, but his grin was as wide as ever. Dad checked the list on his phone. "All right, team, next stop is Bandit's house." Harley barked. "I bet he's something wild this year." Daisy giggled. "Last year, he tried to wear a cape and kept tripping over it." "Well, maybe he's going for something more his size this time," Rosie added, with a flutter of her wings. The group turned down a cozy street glowing with orange porch lights. One house stood out. Bandit's front yard was a Howl-oween wonderland. Cornstalks leaned against the fence, a hay bale sat under a glowing pumpkin, and a sign above the porch read, "Welcome to Candy Corn Canyon." Harley's nose twitched. "Smells like popcorn and peanut butter." Tom laughed. "Sounds like Bandit's brand of magic." Dad knocked gently on the door, and it flew open with a yippee-ki-yay. There stood Bandit, the fluffy orange Pomeranian, dressed in full cowboy gear, a tiny brown vest, a red neckerchief, and the cutest little felt cowboy hat perched between his ears. He even had a soft toy lasso looped over one paw. "Howdy, partners," Bandit barked proudly. "Welcome to Candy Corn Canyon. Step right up for the finest dog treats west of the snack bowl." Harley gasped dramatically. "Bandit, you look amazing. You're like Judge Frankie's Wild West cousin." Frankie adjusted his judge's robe and cleared his throat. "Deputy, please maintain proper decorum." Bandit tipped his hat respectfully. "Yes, Your Honor." The other dogs giggled as Bandit's mom brought out a silver bowl filled with pumpkin chip treats. "These are cowboy crunchies," she said. "No spurs required." Harley sniffed one and gave a solemn nod. 10 out of 10. Crispy with a hint of frontier spirit. Bandit grinned. "I baked 'em. Well, with Mom's help. Now, who's headed to the big dog park hoedown?" "We are," Daisy said, tail wagging. "It's going to be the biggest Halloween party ever." "Well, saddle me up," Bandit barked, looping his toy lasso around his neck like a scarf. "No cowboy worth his biscuit misses a dance." Rosie flapped her bat wings. "Welcome to the parade, Sheriff Bandit." "Much obliged, ma'am," Bandit said with a playful wink. "Let's ride." And off they went again. The dragon, the pumpkin, the bat, the mouse, the pirate, the bee, the birds, the judge, the superhero, and now the cowboy, trotting happily toward the glowing park lights. Their laughter echoed down the street like jingling spurs on a moonlit trail. By now the street glowed with porch lights and laughter. The trick-or-treating parade had grown into a proper Halloween procession, jingling collars, swishing costumes, and tails wagging in every direction. Harley trotted proudly at the front, wings rustling, his dragon tail bouncing side to side. "One more stop before the park," he said. "Louie's house." Daisy tilted her pumpkin head. "Louie? The quiet one with the slow tail wag?" Rosie nodded. "He's nice. He just doesn't play much." As they turned onto a quiet side street, they spotted Louie's house, cozy, with candles glowing in the window and a single carved pumpkin on the step. The pumpkin wasn't fancy, but it had a big friendly smile, just like Louie. Dad smiled. "Looks like someone prefers peaceful Halloweens." Tom raised his staff. "We'll fix that." Gently. Harley padded up the walk and gave 2 polite knocks. "Trick or treat?" There was a shuffle, and then the door opened slowly. And there stood Louie, wearing the most unexpected costume of all, a classic Lone Ranger outfit. A black eye mask framed his bright eyes, a tiny red scarf was tied around his neck, and a shiny silver star was pinned to his harness. "Howdy," Louie said, voice calm but kind. "Didn't think I'd see the whole crew tonight." Harley's eyes sparkled. "Louie, you look awesome. You're like Bandit's serious older brother." Bandit puffed up his fluffy chest. "Hey now, I'm plenty serious when snacks are on the line." Frankie nodded approvingly. A fine costume, simple, distinguished, and thematically appropriate. Louie gave a little smile. "Thanks. I figured every parade needs a ranger." From behind him, Louie's dad stepped out with a bowl of treats. "Homemade cheese biscuits for the brave trick-or-treaters," he said, kneeling down to let each pup take one. Louie's tail wagged slowly but steadily. "You all headed to the park?" "You bet," Harley said. "Big Halloween party. Everybody's going." Louie hesitated just a second, glancing back toward his cozy porch light. Then he looked at the wagging pack of friends on the sidewalk. The dragon, the pumpkin, the bat, the mouse, the bee, the pirate, the judge, the superhero, the cowboy, and the birds, and his smile widened. "Yeah," he said finally, "I think I'll come too." The pups cheered, tails wagging furiously. Harley bumped shoulders with him as they started down the path. "See? Halloween's better with friends." Louie nodded, his voice low but warm. "You're right, Harley. Guess even a Lone Ranger likes a good pack once in a while." Dad smiled as the group moved towards the glow of the park lights in the distance. "Now that," he said softly, "is really what Halloween's all about." The sound of laughter and music floated through the chilly October air as Harley and the whole costumed pack rounded the corner and saw it. The dog park, glowing like a pumpkin in the night. Lanterns hung from tree branches, strung together with twinkling orange lights. Carved pumpkins lined the path. A banner stretched across the gate that read, "Happy Howl-oween." "Whoa," Daisy whispered. "It's magical." Harley's tail wagged so hard his dragon wings flapped. "It's snack heaven on earth." Dad smiled. "Looks like the park committee outdid themselves." Inside the gate, bowls of water and dog-safe goodies lined the picnic tables. Hay bales formed a makeshift photo spot where dogs were already posing in their costumes. Princesses, superheroes, bumblebees, and skeletons of every size. Harley and his crew trotted in together. The dragon, the pumpkin, the bat, the mouse, the pirate, the bee, the turkey, the rooster, the duck, the judge, the superhero, the cowboy, and the ranger. A parade of friendship in fur and felt. "Look at us," Rosie laughed. "We're a walking costume contest." Poppy giggled. "And a snack-eating contest, too." "Indeed," Frankie said, straightening his robe, "though I shall recuse myself from judging tonight." Bandit barked. "Good thing, 'cause I'd win by a landslide." Dottie zoomed past, her cape fluttering. "Catch me if you can, partners." Louie trotted at the edge of the group, quiet but smiling. "You know," he said to Harley, "this isn't so bad after all." Harley grinned. "Told ya. Friends make everything better." At that moment, the lights dimmed slightly, and a cheerful howl rose up from the center of the park. It was Dad, holding up a big orange bucket. "All right, pups, treat time." Every tail in the park wagged. Every bark turned into laughter. Tom the Wizard waved his staff and shouted, "Let the magic begin!" A handful of orange confetti popped into the air, raining softly down over the wagging crowd. Harley looked around his friends. Daisy spinning in her pumpkin suit, Rosie flapping her bat wings, Poppy nibbling on a treat, Messi and Vinnie buzzing around the snack table, Frankie observing the mayhem with wise amusement, Simon and Gregor doing a proud wing strut, Brody splashing in the water bowl, Dottie zooming in heroic circles, Bandit showing off his cowboy hat, and Louie, calm and happy, standing beside him. Harley sighed happily. Best night ever. Dad crouched beside him, armor clinking softly. "You said it, buddy." He scratched behind Harley's ears. "And the best part?" Harley leaned against his leg, gazing out at all his friends. "We did it together." Tom smiled, resting his wizard's hat against his chest. A perfect Halloween. As the moon rose above the glowing park, the pups danced, played, and munched until the last pumpkin light flickered low. The dragon's tail swished one final time before curling up beside his knight under the stars. And for the first time that night, Harley didn't say a word, because happiness didn't need one.
What a great day that turned out to be! Best day ever! I can't wait until next week when we go on another adventure. Make sure you click subscribe so you can join me, and like my video too, please, because I sure like you. See you next week, friends!